y'all, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to Mondays here on Daily Diabetics. This week's theme is going to be our diagnosis stories, because in case you guys didn't know, it is currently Diabetes Awareness Month. But today I'm just going to be telling you guys my diagnosis story and how I found out I had type 1 diabetes. You're gonna have to bear with me on it because I actually don't remember any of it, so it's all stuff that my mom has told me. So it's probably going to be a little all over the place. I apologize. You'll find out why in just a minute. But before I get started with this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give it a thumbs up if you enjoy. With all that being said, let's just jump into my diagnosis story. Okay, so for those of you guys who are new or who don't know, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in December of 2004. Right after my 7th birthday. My birthday is October 29th. I was diagnosed about 2 months after my 7th birthday. So for a couple of months leading up to my diagnosis and even my birthday, I had strep throat on and off for the longest time. It would not go away. I had been to the doctor, been on antibiotics. It would go away and then it would come back. So I'd been on antibiotics for probably a month, maybe two. And it wouldn't go away. We couldn't figure out why. And then I was also drinking a lot of water and peeing a lot. And my mom just kind of thought that I was drinking a lot of water because my throat was sore, and drinking cool water helped my throat. And then in return, I was peeing a lot because I was drinking a lot because my throat hurt. That was kind of her logic behind it, which if I were a mom, I probably would have thought the exact same thing. Fast forward a couple of weeks or a month, we got a trip from my grandmother and grandfather to go to the Greenbrier Resort. I believe it is in either Virginia or West Virginia. My whole family, there were 12 of us that went, including like my aunt and uncle, cousins, my grandmother, grandfather. I still wasn't feeling well Christmas Day. We left for this trip the day after Christmas, so it was December 26th. And it was like a 4 or 5 hour car ride from where I live. So I obviously didn't feel well. So again, I was drinking a lot. We had to make a lot of stops because I was peeing a lot. I just didn't feel well. We got there, we got everything unloaded, and I still wasn't feeling well. So my mom took me to the doctor in the hotel in the resort, and they said the same thing. It was strep throat. So they gave me another round of antibiotics, and then we went back to our room. And that night we actually had a reservation at a really nice restaurant, but I wasn't feeling well still. So my mom and I stayed in the hotel room, and we just like ordered room service and watched a movie. Again, I really don't remember much of this. I kind of remember how the hotel room was laid out, but that's really about it. So I didn't feel well. Of course, I was like a little kid, and everything that was bad for a type 1 diabetic is what I ate. Like bad for a type 1 diabetic. Like I had mac and cheese, I had ice cream. That was just stuff that like sounded good, and I had lost a bunch of weight. And again, my mom thought it was because my throat hurt and I didn't want to eat. So I'd lost a bunch of weight, so my mom was just happy that I was eating. So my dad and brother came back from dinner. We all went to bed, and then around midnight is what I've been told, I woke up throwing up a lot. And according to my mom, now I don't know if this is true, again, because I don't remember any of this, my like knees were starting to turn like a purpley blue color. Not sure why, but I was really, really pale. I was throwing up a lot. My mom like rushed me into the bathtub. My brother jumped on the bed and woke my dad up, and I was rushed to the ER. When we got to the ER, again, I remember none of this. They finally got me into a room, and they did a bunch of tests, and they found out that I was a type 1 diabetic. I had type 1 diabetes. That is what the cause of everything was. So when I was diagnosed, my blood sugar was 914, and as most of you guys probably know, the average blood sugar for a non-diabetic is anywhere from 80 to 120. So I was way out of range. The doctors looked at my mom and said, ma'am, with her blood sugar being so high, she's in DKA, or diabetic ketoacidosis. I was in a diabetes-induced coma. They told my mom that I was either going to die or live but have severe brain damage. And my mom was like, screw you. No, you need to get to work. Instead of telling me what could go wrong, you need to be working and trying to fix her. So they did CAT scans, MRIs, They did bicarb, which if you don't know what bicarb is, it's basically where they pour, I think it's charcoal down your throat because your body's so acidic. They use it for, I think, the OD on drugs. it just like flushes out your system. And because my blood sugar was so high, my body was super acidic, and I was out for I think a couple of days, like a day and a half. I could still hear. Apparently at one point they asked me to like squeeze my mom's fingers, and I really lightly squeezed her fingers so I could still hear and I could still move, but they were still concerned that I had brain damage. So they did all of that. The bicarb could have killed me. My mom didn't want to do a CAT scan, but we did. And the doctor that was working so hard on me came out and met my mom down the hallway of where like the CAT scan room was, and gave my mom like 2 thumbs up, and my mom started like bawling and ran and hugged him. So I had no brain damage. Clearly I have no brain damage. By some miracle and by the power of God and God watching over me and an amazing guardian angel, I'm still here almost 14 years later, and this is a really hard story for me to share. It's really personal for me, and it's like really emotional because I shouldn't be alive right now. I should not be here, but I am, and I'm very, very, very thankful and grateful for everyone that worked so hard to save my life all those years ago. And I sound like I'm getting teary-eyed. I kind of am. But yeah, that's basically my diagnosis story. I don't really know what else there is to say about it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry if it was all over the place. Again, very hard topic for me to talk about because 1, I don't remember any of it, and 2, I basically should have been dead, which is very blunt and to the point, I know, but that's what the doctors told me once I lived. So yeah, if you want to leave your diagnosis story in the comments below, I will definitely be sure to read them and check them out. Let me know what your blood sugar was when you were diagnosed. I know some people that are diagnosed and their blood sugar is like 190, and I'm like, I was 914, which is not an award that you want to win. But yes, I will see you guys next week with a brand new video. I love y'all so, so much. Bye.